Welcome to Horsebytes, your go-to source for keeping up with the show jumping world. This week we saw the Olympic test event in Fontainebleau, where the courses were built by the games course designer Gregory Baudot, who we covered last week in more depth. It was a great event that gave us a nice preview of what's to come. We also saw the first four-star event out of the Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington. And with one of the biggest paydays of the year coming up this week in Shanghai, we thought we'd take a look at the correlation between field strength and prize money. And since following all the formats in our sport is a job in and of itself, we're going to break down the rules of the Global Champions Tour to increase your viewing pleasure in China this week. But first, let's take a look at the big winners from near and far. In the Parisian suburb, the winner out of the CSI 5-star from Fontainebleau was Steve Guerdat and his European champion, Dynamics de Belém, topping the 3-horse jump-off to pick up €50,000 for the biggest event of the week. Across the pond, Conor Swail picked up the winning prize in the CSI 4-star Invitational Grand Prix at Lexington on Castorano, ahead of Niall Nasser and Charlotte Jacobs. Welcome to Showstopper, powered by EquiRatings. This week we're talking about money, specifically the prize money on offer for some of the richest events of the year. Many top combinations are headed to Shanghai this week, where we will see one of the richest paydays of the year, with the Grand Prix offering up over €600,000, double what most of the other LGCT Grand Prix offer. And we thought it would be fascinating to explore the correlation between prize money and field strength. Now, you would think that the more prize money on offer would attract the stronger horse rider combinations, but let's see what the data says. So far this year, the classes with the highest prize money on offer were the Rolex Grand Prix in Den Bosch, with a winning prize of €330,000, which had an ELO field strength of 726. Highway TN and Willem Greva took the win on an ELO of 751, so even going in, he was a cut above the rest. At the 5-star finale in Wellington, the winner took home $165,000, while the class had a field strength of 718. The class was won by Checker 47 and Christian Kukuk on an ELO of 753. And the 5-star in Doha at €135,300 presented to the winner, where the field strength was only 694. H&M Indiana and Malin Bayard Janssen took the win there on an ELO of 768, the second highest rated winner of the year so far in a 5-star Grand Prix. But with the quality of competitors being significantly lower, it was no real surprise that she bested the class. Now, amazingly, the strongest field of horses and riders, or the classes with the highest ELO field strength, were not the highest prize money classes of 2024 so far. The Longines League of Nations in Ocala had the strongest ELO field strength of the year so far at 736, but with the riders having to split the prize money, the max any one rider was capable of winning that day was €57,500. So a whole lot of effort against the toughest class of the year so far for way less money. In comparison, Greva and Highway jumped a class that was only 10 points weaker as far as field strength, but won hundreds of thousands more. And for even more comparison, and we touched on this last week, King Edward and Henrik von Eckermann won the first round of the World Cup finals against a field strength of 713, and his winnings totaled only €46,000. And as the week went on, the field strength got weaker, and the prize money went up. By the end, Henrik jumped against a field strength of only 699, but won a whopping €345,000 on the final day. All in all, prize money clearly doesn't seem to be the only factor when riders choose to attend an event. Sure, it's a nice incentive, but location, prestige, championship preparation, and seemingly other factors play a more significant role in attracting the best horse rider combinations to a single class. Horsebytes is brought to you by EquiCrown Canada USA, your partner for top quality compression socks for rest, ride, and rehab. Have you ever heard of RICE? No, not the food. The acronym for rest, ice, compression, and elevation for athletes? Well, rest, ice, and elevation are simple, but compression is always the one that's hardest to accomplish, especially with sensitive horses. Until now. EquiCrown Canada USA's compression socks and bandages for horses are legit amazing. They are literally perfect as an alternative to rundowns while riding that provide support. They offer compression to help disperse blood flow after heavy exercise, and they provide an unbelievable solution for eliminating accumulated fluid and toxins in the leg and keep swelling at bay. I don't even ride anymore, and I still recommend EquiCrown Canada USA to everyone I know with horses. My grooms loved the ease of putting them on, the horses would stand unbothered by them, and I trusted that they were getting even compression that was safe and reliable. Awesome product, awesome brand, couldn't recommend it more. Follow the link below and use code HORSEBYTES for a 10% discount on your next order of EquiCrown Canada USA's compression socks. This week on Weekly Wonder, we're talking about the Longines Global Champions Tour format and rules. With 3 events already complete for the season and Shanghai coming up this week, does anyone actually know what's going on or how it works? We know it's confusing, so we thought we'd break it all down for you. First up, the GCL or league competitions work like this. There's a maximum of 20 teams per season. This year, there are only 14 teams. And each team costs €2.5 million per year to be a part of the league. There's a minimum of 5 riders and max of 6 per team. 2 must be within the top 250 in the world, and 1 of those must be present at each event. If a team has 6 riders, 1 must be a U25 rider, but that rider can't be in the top 30 in the world. 3 riders can compete with 2 horses at each event, with 2 representing the team during the GCL competitions themselves. And the show can invite some riders from the local nationality as well. There's a transfer window mid-season, or injury transfers can be made whenever necessary, but the league has final discretion on the transfer. Teams must compete at each show during the season, otherwise they risk getting a penalty upwards of €200,000. The actual format for jumping looks like this. 2 rounds on the same day, both Table A speed classes, which are fault and time. They are spec'd at meter 50 to meter 60. The results are tallied by calculating the total penalties across the 4 rounds of each team, 2 athletes jumping 2 rounds. In case of ties, the aggregate time of the second round will be the decider. Teams can change athletes and/or horses between rounds. Team riders compete consecutively in the ring, one at a time, one after the other. An elimination, disqualification, or retirement all equal team elimination. The 3rd rider present at each event for the team can compete as an individual in the GCL classes and will jump before the teams in both rounds. And of course, round 2 counts as the qualifier for the Grand Prix. So, the format for the Grand Prix then looks like this. 40 qualify from round 2 of the GCL, but if you've noticed, the Grand Prix often has less than 40 riders, and that's because riders who qualify and opt out don't get replaced by those down the list. It's run as a 1 round with jump-off class, and of course, the winner will earn that golden ticket to the €1.25 million Super Grand Prix that takes place in the autumn during the playoffs. That means a whopping $300,000 to the winner. The overall GCL purse is €11.3 million throughout the season, with 2.8 up for grabs during the individual events and 8.5 for the overall standings. That's $2 million to the winning team. Not a bad payday, although given the team buy-in price, it'll barely cover costs. Shockingly, it's still some of the highest prize money on offer in our sport. And what's even more fascinating is that the prize money distribution within the teams is entirely up to the owners and managers of the teams themselves, with some teams giving only a portion of the winnings to the riders or dividing things up equally versus to only those who compete weekly. Either way, it's a lot of money changing hands and certainly a huge boost for our sport in terms of overall compensation. But now, we are Horsebytes, and of course we bring you the wild things each week.
We're Horsebytes. Of course we bring you the best POV. We're Horsebytes. Of course we bring you horses in the news. We're Horsebytes. Of course we highlight wild moments in sport. We're Horsebytes. Of course we show you horses being horses. We're Horsebytes. Of course we ride when the ring is just a little wet. We are Horse Bytes. Of course we bring you the best sporting moments. We are Horse Bytes. Of course we make you laugh.
Let's go. Let's go. That's a wrap on this week's top highlights. Stay tuned to all of our socials. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow along all the action as it unfolds here on Horse Bytes, your go-to source for keeping up with the show jumping world.